On Christmas of 2013, Houston mom Emily Madonias' 2-year-old daughter, Aurelia, was given an Elsa doll as a gift by one of the family members. The doll seemed normal, like any other doll, in this case, an Elsa doll, and for a 2-year-old child, this seemed like the ideal child's toy. The doll recited phrases from the famous Child's Fun Disney movie Frozen and would sing the famous song from the movie Let It Go when a button on its necklace was pressed. Little Aurelia would play with the Elsa doll endlessly from day till night, almost like if she had some real connection with the doll. And for a 2-year-old child, it just seemed normal to parents Emily and Matt Madonia. The doll would interchange from talking to singing back and forth without anyone pressing its button. This lasted for 2 years, and in 2015 the doll would interchange very mysteriously from out of nowhere in English and Spanish, and inclusively sing both the English and Spanish versions of the song Let It Go, when before it had never done this. And to make matters crazier, there wasn't a button that could interchange these settings from Spanish to English. It only came in an English format. So Emily and Matt at this point are terrified and in disbelief as to what they are starting to realize. Is this doll demonic? What can possibly be going on? What's wrong with this doll? I mean, I know there's movies like the infamous Chucky good guy doll movies, but can this really be happening to us? They wondered. The family is distraught and in lost of words and in great confusion. They have no clue what's wrong with the doll. Time passes and it has now been 6 years and still stuck with this doll at home. Emily and Matt Madonia realize that they haven't changed the doll's batteries in the 6 years that they've owned it, but still sings and talks when the power button is switched to off. So at this point, the family doesn't know what to do. They seem to have given up on trying to figure out what might be wrong with this Elsa doll. In December of 2019, the family decides to get rid of the Elsa doll and proceed to throw it out in the trash. A few weeks later, when Emily and Matt get home from their work, Emily opens up the small storage bench that they had in a corner in the living room, and she realizes the doll inside just laying there. And Emily is in deep thought and she's completely terrified and yells out to Matt to come look. And Matt gets over to the bench and he sees the Elsa doll as well, just laying there, and he's in deep shock and he's shook and terrified. They are both lost for words and just stare at each other in disbelief. They call out to their 2 kids and ask them if they had put the doll there, and they said no. And Emily and Matt knew their kids way too well for them to do such a thing. They knew their kids were just really great good kids, and they know they wouldn't have never dug out the doll from the garbage can. Everything about this is just way too strange. There has to be something very paranormal about this situation, Matt says. This isn't normal, and it's just completely strange, and there's no way this doll is back. They try not to stress about the situation, and so Matt stores it away in the garage to come up with an idea on what to do with the doll. A few days pass, and during that time, the Elsa doll completely stopped speaking and singing in English, but rather now it would sing and speak in only Spanish, almost as if the doll came only in Spanish format, which was all the contrary. Countless nights of no sleep and thinking about this strange doll, Matt and Emily attempt to get rid of the doll once again. They double bag her and put her at the bottom of the garbage can to get taken away out on trash day. The family had a planned travel later that week and they forgot about the doll. They thought that now that the garbage was being taken out to the local dump and disposed of, the doll would be completely dealt with and out of their lives for good. When they return back from their vacation, they get home, park the car, and are happy to return home with no more creepy doll in their lives. But as the Madonias family make their way inside the house, Aurelia notices something in the backyard and she yells out, "Mom, Dad, I think I see something in the backyard." And as they walk towards the backyard, they can't believe their eyes. And what they see is none other than this creepy, evil, demonic Elsa doll just laying there in the backyard with an evil grin on her plastic face and piercing, demonic blue eyes, almost as if it were mesmerizing you and casting a spell on whoever stared into its eyes. Emily is distraught once again and immediately opens up her Facebook account and puts up a post stating, "Okay guys, seriously, we need help." Emily goes on in her statement saying that for the past few weeks, her and her husband Matt had tried everything to get rid of the dog, but somehow still manages to torture them and return back to their home. When asked on social media if this was a prank pulled by her and her husband in order to go viral and cause attention, Emily responds with, "No, there is no explanation to all of this. The doll has marker coloring all over her from my daughter Aurelia over the years, and let alone it had the same markings right before we tossed her into the trash. And also the garbage truck had came to take away the trash out on trash day. So there was nothing else Emily could think of. How would anyone else know about the doll, especially to pull such prank?" With no other ideas to get rid of the doll, Emily and Matt ponder and ponder upon what they will do this time to get rid of the doll. So they come with the final conclusion that they will mail the doll without a return mailing address to one of their good friends, Chris Hogan from Minnesota. When Emily wraps and stores the doll away in its box, the doll laughs uncontrollably for 30 seconds straight in a demonic and evil laughter. And Emily realizes it's the first time it's done that, and she's terrified. And Matt hears the laughter as well, and they are both just in shock, and they're frozen. No, they're shook by this evil doll. They are both freaked out, but can't wait to have it sent off to Chris. The doll eventually makes its way to Chris, and the Madonias family is now at ease, just expecting what the doll's next move will be. Several time goes by and no doll appears to make its way back to Houston to the Madonias home. But strange things still begin to happen in their home. The lights keep flickering on and off at night, and the doors and storage cabinets open and shut by themselves. Something that never happened before the doll came to their home. All in all, regardless of the situation, Emily and Matt are just happy that they no longer own the doll. Later that year, Chris puts up a post on the update of the doll, where he shows a picture of the doll taped onto the brush guard of his Jeep, where he will have the doll on lookout in case he notices anything fishy going on with the doll. Chris states that if anything weird happens, he's welding the Elsa doll into a steel pipe and sinking it into Lake of the Woods in Minnesota County. As to this date, the fate of the doll still lies with Chris in Minnesota. And Emily and Matt are living comfortably in Houston for the most part, but still in back of their minds, they're always thinking if this doll will ever appear back in their lives. That's the end of this story, folks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and turn on all notifications for more creepy stories. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.